We are live. Welcome, everyone. I am just going to hit the record okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm Kim Miles, and I have the honor and privilege, and you guys are so going to be blown away because I have Stacey Easterling with us. Whoop, whoop. She is the Vice President of Programs at the Virginia Piper Charitable Trust.
You got it.
We're all about that. She is one of the Recreate advisors. She's part of our little dolphin tank that all of our Recreate Action Tank members get to pitch at the end of their 9-month program. And she's going to be one of the ones that is going to be hearing new ideas. And so you're new to Arizona. You moved, it's been a year. You've survived pretty much your first summer.
Ooh, I think so.
It's still, I keep saying in my head, Melissa and I joke, because I keep saying it's going to be unseasonably cool. It's going to be unseasonably cool. And I'm still waiting, but
it never is. I'm like, when is that happening?
October. So tell us about how you came to the Piper Trust.
Sure.
What's your background and what was sort of your pathway to join us in Arizona?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really excited about the work that Recreate is doing, that you and Melissa are doing. I am just, as you said, a transplant. Really excited about being in Arizona. I came to Arizona, as you said, for the job. I really was excited about joining the Piper Trust. And as you said, I do want to share, I'm originally a Midwesterner coming from Ohio, but I've also lived in New York. I've lived in St. Louis, lived in the Bay Area a little bit for college. So it's interesting coming to the Southwest. I'm really excited about this region. Don't know a lot
college,
about it.
AKA Stanford, right?
Yeah, that was the Bay Area stuff was kind of fun too. Yeah. But so long ago. I'm going to my reunion, and I'm not even going to tell you how many years ago that was. But anyway, yeah, just I've been around the country is more the point I wanted to make, and I'm really excited about the Southwest.
So what was it about the Virginia Piper Charitable Trust that sort of just attracted you? Because you made a big move, and so there had to be something that was like, okay, this is going to be worth it.
Yeah, I have to say I really like the idea. A couple of things. One is the Piper Trust was started by a woman who lived here in Arizona, Virginia Piper. She was the widow of the founder of Motorola, and that's primarily where the wealth came from. And just learning about her story of how, talk about a woman who made herself, separate herself from what her husband did, and just created her own, recreated her own identity. And hers was in charitable giving. I mean, she really felt compelled to make good things happen in Phoenix, and she did. And so when she died, they started the foundation, which was in 1999. And now 20 years later, this foundation has given away over $500 million into Maricopa County. That's the only place we fund, and across the sector in terms of helping children, helping older adults. We also fund in education, religious organizations, medical research and healthcare, and arts and culture. So we have a broad swath across the community, and it really is because of her. And I was excited to come because of how we touch a lot of pieces in the community, and the fact that this woman was really trying to do some wonderful things and have impact. And I wanted to be a part of that. So I was excited to come, knew some of the people from over the years, watched Piper's reputation, and felt like this was a real opportunity for me to come, perhaps helping, having impact.
I love that, because we're all about create a better life, create a better world. And it seems like she was just ahead of her times with that.
I really do think she was onto it. And I think she's a model of someone, I think, who really thought about the things that we're talking about right now in Recreate. So yeah.
Has there been any organizations that you've seen, you know, that you guys have fun, that you've been just like blown away by, that was like, oh my God, I didn't even know this organization exists and the work they're doing is amazing?
That is not
They
fair.
all are.
That is not fair. That's right. That's like saying, who's your favorite kid? And I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm going to say that I think our grant making speaks widely, speaks for itself in terms of the things we thought were important and we invested in. I am still at the point where I'm trying to learn and meet who the players are. So I can't say that there's a best. But I think what I would say I've been most impressed by is the foundation has been over the past year and a half since I've been here, because I started in COVID, and we have really stepped up to give dollars and support to lots of organizations that really just needed to stay open. And so I'd say my favorite has been our trustees and the foundation, because they've been generous. We've given more than we've ever given before, because there was a need. There was a need, and they stepped up. Stepped up to the need. So I think that's what I'm most proud of right now. And they gave it to a broad group of organizations and a lot of organizations. So that's what I think I'd love to highlight, as opposed to any one organization. Yeah.
I know I put you on the spot. It wasn't.
It's okay. Did I slip on it? Okay.
So I am sure that there's tons of organizations that, apply. And what is kind of the challenging part of what you do? Like, what is some of the challenges you face, and things that, how do you overcome those?
Yeah, I think
everybody wants a trust, right?
right. I mean, they want a grant. And I think what we're learning and wanting to get better at is having impact across the community in a way that's focusing on equity. And I think that's something that has come up to the forefront in our country, is looking at racial equity and all of the disparities that we're hearing, that we're all learning about and talking about more. And how does philanthropy, how does the Piper Trust fare in here? And how do we do it better? We've done a lot of good work, made a lot of good grants that have had impact in the community, but how do we do it even better? And how do we work at expanding our network of who we support? So being more inclusive in terms of the relationships we have out in the community. We have some great relationships and have supported some great organizations, but there are more. And there are some that are supporting super vulnerable people. And how do we connect with them? So I think that's been our issue, is just understanding where we sit in the community, sort of what has been the landscape of Maricopa County in terms of what their issues were, what the problems were, and what are the problems for the future, and where does Piper fit in that? That's sort of where we are now. Is there are new issues to think about as Phoenix becomes the 5th largest city in the country, and it has new needs that a growing city would have. Are we ready to deal with those? And if so, what is Piper's role in that? That's I think what we're trying to get right. We don't know the answer yet, but I think that's sort of what keeps me up at night. What gets me excited is that question: where do we fit, and how can we make the most impact that would make Mrs. Piper proud? That's, I think, our.
And what's kind of your vision for your role, if you have one, because you've been here now a year? You've probably seen a lot, and with every new opportunity, I think what happens is we see all these opportunities, we don't know where to start sometimes,
right?
And so, because everything is like, we should do this, right? So where do you kind of see next year? We won't go 5 years out, but where do you see like your focus for the next year?
Yeah, what I think what we are doing right now that will prepare us for next year is what I call landscaping. Just we're out talking, just, and I say landscaping and listening. Those are the two things. Listening in order to landscape it, to understand the landscape. So we're talking to people, trying to ask them, what are the pressing needs in the community? And it's almost like a SWOT analysis that I'm trying as a new person to find out about Maricopa County. What are the strengths? What are the things you really think are weak about our area? What are the opportunities and what are the challenges? What are we up against? I think that's what I've been committed to doing, is listening and talking to a broad range of people, not just presidents and CEOs of the nonprofits that are looking for money, but also regular people, regular folks, because they can be super insightful. They live, as we all do in this community. And I think we have to understand the totality of the community and listen. So been having lots of conversations, want to have more conversations to understand sort of, again, what are those challenges for the next 5 years, sort of looking at that window. So I think ours is to, my hope, and I told my staff, and I have a great staff who are also in touch with the community. I use them as introducers to people in the community, but I told them what I'd love to have is a picture, to be able to see visually what is Phoenix like right now with a lens towards the future, and to see where those gaps are and have a visual that can help us to think about what we can do to make a difference.
I love that. And I know you've been in kind of the nonprofit world for years.
Yeah.
And I just said years. I didn't say how many.
Thank you.
For years. You have a lot of great experience. And I know a lot of people in our community are people who are thinking about starting a nonprofit or, want to have some form of way of giving back. Yeah. What kind of things would you tell somebody to do if they want to start a nonprofit, or ways to start giving back?
Yeah, what I'd like to tell people is, one is congratulate them on thinking of giving back. And two is, I would say, to think about collaboration and listening. Those are the two things I think that are the key. Is one, sort of doing homework, asking around, sort of trying to assess needs. Because as a funder, when we talk to a nonprofit that is looking for money, I want to ask, well, how do you know that this is a problem? How do you know that people want it solved? Why do you think you are the one to solve it? So I'd want them to think about what is unique about the service or the, as in a business, the product that you offer. Why you? Why not the others that have tried? What did they do that was wrong? Sort of take oneself through that sort of pacing, which is sort of, logical kind of thinking of why you and what is the need. That's the first thing I would say. Now, if you're talking about people who are thinking of giving, I'd say also ask and talk to people if you can in the lived experience, and find out what they are saying the needs are, and then talk to organizations that are giving and make sure that those are in alignment, because I think that oftentimes we've lost sight of those who are living the experience and finding out what they really need. And we're trying to do the same thing, just trying to make sure that there's a match in that, because there could be lots of people who are looking at a situation saying that's what's needed. But if you talk to the people that are impacted and they're like, no, what we really need is that, and so I think it's sort of doing a little bit of that homework to make sure, and maybe it's called market research in the business world, but yeah, just making sure that you understand the need that's out there, and it is providing it in a respectful, way to those who benefit from it.
Well, I think that's so true. The market research, like a lot of times we think we can solve it, but it's really not the solution. Yeah. But the two words you used, I think, can not just help everybody, it could solve the world, which is collaborate and listen. Yeah. Two things that everyone could do more of. Yeah. In my opinion, right across the board.
Absolutely.
Those two things could be the things that actually create a better life and a better world. So
Can't
let's have
hurt.
some fun. We're just
Okay.
gonna do a little speed round before we wrap up.
Uh-oh. Okay. Okay.
The first thing that pops up to your head, what is your favorite way to recreate?
Yoga.
Dream vacation.
Ooh. An island. Can I say an island?
Yes, it's your game.
Okay, I would say an island, and it's an island I've never been to, but is it the Maldives?
Okay, awesome. Celebrity crush.
Ooh, ooh. Okay, which one? Let me see. Oh, I should have this ready. Oh, gosh.
I stumped you.
You did, because usually I have this together, but because I've been actually crushing on some younger men, and it's like, no, you
No,
can't.
come on, let's hear it.
I was good. My crush is Michael B. Jordan, but I'm like, no,
Oh.
he's closer to my son's age, so I can't do that.
Perfect.
No, that's no.
He
So
is
can
a
I go?
perfect person to crush on.
Can I go?
Not
Can I go?
crushing on him. Something's wrong with you, right?
Okay, but don't tell my son, and he doesn't go on Facebook, so I'm glad.
Okay, favorite social media platform?
I'm liking Instagram. I don't know if that's bad or good, but
That's okay. And last question that we like to ask everyone, what is the best business advice you've ever gotten?
trust your instinct, trust yourself. I can't. Yeah, I would say that I was told over and over, and I'm so like, yeah. But I think I keep coming back to that as I've, gotten older, that it really is about trusting yourself and listening to what your gut says. Because I think your gut is you, and it's in a real big way, I think it's your divine self, and it's telling you some things that are really what's best for you, but we often don't listen to it, or its voice is not heard. And I now know that was some of the best advice, was trust yourself and your instincts. So
I couldn't agree more. Melissa and I, oftentimes when we're discussing like a strategy or something like who we should partner with, I mean, one of us always goes, what's your instinct?
yeah.
And you're so right that we know, we do know.
We do
right?
know. Yep.
So I love that. So for everyone listening, collaborate, listen, and trust your instincts.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I love
crush on Michael B. Thank you so much, Stacey. We are so thrilled to have you as part of our amazing community. Reach out to Stacey with questions, comments. She is such a wonderful human and wonderful businesswoman, and she is somebody that we just are so honored to have in our group.
Thanks for letting me be a part of this. I'm really looking forward to meeting more of the team.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.